Hi, I'm Callie, and I am a site reliability engineer by day. And by night, I am building a website builder for fun. I want to be able to grow my skills as a developer. I want to keep up to date on full stack technology. And I just think it'd be really cool to build a website builder. So, for the past 2 weeks, I have been in a planning sprint trying to figure out what my website builder MVP looks like, how all of the data flows, and what the UI versus API um, looks like, and how everything functions together. And so now I have my plan. All right, my MVP is going to take me 6 sprints. I'm going to be doing 2 week sprints starting on a Monday, working through that Friday, and then working the next week, Monday through Friday. Now, I have a day job, so this is not going to be a full time 2 week sprint. This is probably an hour or two a day. All right, so let's go over what is going to happen during my MVP development. In sprint one, which is going to start on Monday, the upcoming Monday here, I am going to actually create a new repo. As you can see, I already have a Coding with Callie website, and it already has a lot of stuff on it. So I'm kind of overwhelmed by all of the code that I have. So I'm just going to start fresh with a website builder repository, and then I'm going to just copy over the code that I need as I need it. So that's going to be my sprint one. I'm going to spend 2 weeks doing that. Part of the sprint and part of the reason why I'm trying to minimize how much is done in each sprint is because I'm keeping reliability in my mindset too. So not only do I need to write the code, I need to make sure before I code, I have a really solid plan. And then after I code, I need to make sure I have unit tests happening and my tests need to run in my CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so smaller subset of features, but hopefully development ends up running faster because I'm catching bugs as I go. So that's sprint one, just getting the project set up. Sprint two is to have my homepage and being able to edit its details. All right, so if I go over to my design here, the idea is that I'm going to have a homepage that for end users will look like, hey, coming soon, this website's under construction. But all of the real stuff is going to be after you click that edit button. All right, so on first load, I need to make sure that my database is seeded with a homepage, so that way this exists. It's going to look for the homepage sections. If it doesn't find any sections, it's going to display this coming soon component instead. When I click on the edit button during this sprint, I need to get to the point where I can see my page details, click the edit button here, and change the menu name and the heading. The path for the homepage will not be able to change, but for other types of pages, it will. I'm only focusing on the homepage for my MVP though. So that's pretty much going to be the extent of that second sprint there, is getting these components built on the front end, getting the API routes for editing page details up and running, and making sure I am accurately able to seed the database if the homepage doesn't already exist there. All right. Sprint 3 has to do with the content sections. So I'm going to have 3 different types of content sections. Let's go ahead and go take a look at what those are. All right, for my MVP, I want to have 3 different things that I could use. The first is going to be heading, text, and image. All right, the second is going to be heading, text, image, and a link. And the third one is just going to be heading and text. All right. The idea is that when I click this green Add a Section button, I want this form to pop up where I can select a section type. For now, for the MVP, it's just to be going to be content, but I hope in the future to have forms and apps and potentially other section types as well. Then you would select a content type from the list. There will only be 3 options to start with. If I hover over, I want it to kind of change background a little bit. I click on it and then click add a section, and it should automatically add exactly what you see here, a fake heading, a section with a fake heading, some placeholder data and a placeholder image or whatever the content section type is. All right, so this sprint 2 is really about getting this form up and running and making really solid content section components on the front end. Let's keep looking. Sprint 4 is editing content and publishing the content on the home page. Let's go look at that. All right, so for here, right, once I have these sections actually on my edit page, I want to be able to click this edit button, and then when you edit the button, it'll look like a little form instead. And then I should be able to fill in any information out of here, click submit, and it's going to do a put request to the API and replace everything that's in that draft data. If you missed my data management video, there is a video out there, by the way, if this is not making sense. All right, next, in Sprint 5, I want to be, in Sprint 4, I also want to be able to publish my homepage. So that's going to be this button here. So once I have 1, 2, or 3 sections, or 15, who cares, right? Because they all should work the same. I should be able to add a section, edit its content, and then the final step is to click this publish, where the data that's in my draft data gets copied over. So when I refresh this just root codingwithcallie.com, it's going to look in the database for the homepage. It's going to find it. It's going to look for the homepage's sections, and it's going to see as many sections as I added, so it won't show this coming soon. It'll show my actual content there. All right. Next is reordering and deleting sections on the page. So if I add 15 sections and then I realize that I want section number 3 to be up top, I don't want to have to go and delete all 15 sections and start over. I want to be able to click a button that will move content up and down, which I've lost my way around my Excalibur now. So here is what that looks like. We'll have an up and down button that we can move up and down until we are satisfied. I also want to be able to delete sections off my page, which will be this button. So basically this sprint is adding these 3 buttons to the mix. All right, and the final sprint in my MVP is setting up my CI/CD pipeline for deployment. I should already be testing in my pipeline, but I should be able to, when I merge my PR into main, I should be able to deploy moving forward. And that will allow me for everything post MVP to create a branch, plan a feature, code a feature, test a feature, and redeploy. Hopefully on a cadence of 2-week sprints. All right. By the way, I used my Coding with Callie checklists application to write out my plan for it. It's basically just super nested checklists. So I can make checklists, and then have the breadcrumbs all there. So that's what I'm going to use for this project to manage my progress. And eventually I'm going to, because you can see it's in the Coding with Callie website now, eventually I'm going to merge it back in and have the ability to create checklists as part of sections, but not part of the MVP. All right, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.